Welcome to the section where we are going to discuss about the restrictive diseases of our respiratory system. We have already discussed about obstructive diseases where in chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases we have seen how emphysema, chronic bronchitis do have their effect. But here we are going to discuss about the restrictive diseases of pulmonary system. What are chronic restrictive diseases? Like as the duration of these diseases in body stays long, they are diseases which shows restriction in movement of the chest wall, and either due to restriction of movement of the lung tissue in interstitial spaces. The disorder of restriction in movement of chest wall is kyphoscoliosis, ankylosing spondylosis, poliomyelitis, severe obesity, pleural diseases. These are certain diseases which shows difficulty in chest wall movement, and that leads to a restrictive disease of pulmonary system. Whereas if we discuss about the interstitial and infiltrative diseases, we do have pneumoconiosis, immunological lung diseases, collagen vascular diseases, and sarcoidosis. All of these conditions do have effect on restricting the movement of the lung tissue, either due to some inflammatory processes or due to deposition of some organic or inorganic dust. Now, discussing about some radiological finding that we find in the infiltrative diseases, this is a typical presentation of ground glass shadow, which somewhat looks like this as shown in the X-ray. And you can see different patches which are quite prominently seen in the shadows and in this X-ray. And prominently you can see that shadow more towards the left side of the lung and scattered in almost the right lung. Now, the clinical features associated with these restrictive diseases is obviously dyspnea, which is difficulty in breathing. Tachypnea is increased respiratory rate. Cyanosis is a peripheral discoloration, bluish discoloration of skin. But here, wheezing would be absent. Now, what is the wheezing? Wheezing are actually they are the sound, respiratory sounds, abnormal sounds produced due to obstruction in the airflow. But here, as there is no obstruction in the airflow, but rather there is a restriction in the movement of either the chest wall or the lung tissue. So there is no obstruction. So we are not expecting any sound from examination of such patient. So chest wall examination or the chest or the pulmonary examination of such patient will not reveal any abnormal sounds. Let us discuss about pneumoconiosis. These are category of lung diseases caused by inhalation of dust, also known as occupational lung disease and dust disease. Usually these dust are inert. They predispose the patient to tuberculosis or to tumor or neoplasia or cancer. Now, how does this disease affect humans, or what are the factors which would be responsible for development of such restrictive disease involving dust? So obviously the dust would be involved with the dust particles. So the dust particles would be of different shapes and size. So the shape and size of the particle, if they are smaller in size, so they will have a more probability of traveling to the innermost tissue, that is still the alveoli. Even the solubility, how they dissolve in the water or in the surrounding tissue, or how much, if they are soluble, they can enter into the different cells present there. Also, the amount of dust retained in the lungs. So, the retaining dust particles obviously will depend on the amount of exposure. What amount of dust is being exposed to the lungs, and also it will depend on the clearing mechanism. It's not that the host mechanism or the uh, macrophages present in the lungs will not clear them. But if the clearance rate or the clearance mechanism is inefficient, or if it's working and it's not working till that it can remove all the dust present in the lungs, then it will obviously lead into some restrictive disease. And also presence of some other irritants like smoke. So size of the particle, how does it affects? The particle larger than 5 micrometer may reach the terminal airway, and they are usually ingested by the alveolar macrophages. Whereas smaller, which the particles which are smaller than 1 micrometer, they will reach the alveoli, they will stimulate macrophages, and they will ultimately lead into fibrosis. So this fibrosis is the basic mechanism involved in the restrictive diseases, where due to presence of this dust particle, what is happening, that the inflammatory process gets initiated, and at the end of this inflammatory processes, fibrosis occurs, which causes difficulty in expansion of this particular part of the area of the lung affected. So, what defense mechanism do we have? Like as I said, there is a clearing mechanism involved. So, in nose, we have hairs at the external nares, which is trapping almost all particle larger than 5 micrometers. In trachea and bronchi, 90% of the particle larger than 3 to 5 micron are caught, and particles between zero point 0.5 and 2 micrometers reach the alveolar duct and alveoli. So the size of the particle is actually determining where till where they will travel. Solubility and cytotoxicity. Smaller particles will dissolve in pulmonary fluid, rapid toxic level, and cause acute lung injury, whereas larger particles will resist dissolution, persist in lungs for years, and evoke fibrosis. Example, silicosis. That is, silicosis is caused due to the larger particles, and they are silica particles are not soluble in the surrounding tissue. They stay in the lungs for quite a long period of time. So smaller the particles, they will be causing an acute effect or a rapid effect to be seen, whereas larger particles may show delayed response. They stay in the human system for a very long period of time. Physiochemical reactivity, quartz particle, they cause direct injury to tissue and cell membrane, and obviously they can cause pro-inflammatory or pro-fibrosing reactions. So they are the triggers or the initiators of the inflammation and fibrosing reactions. Fibrosis will occur after the inflammation has been done. Now about the systemic response to the presence of these particles in the lung tissue. The particles usually reach the lymph nodes by macrophages. So the alveolar macrophages present in the lung might carry these particles as they will engulf these particles. They may move to the lymph nodes. That in turn may initiate immune response and amplified local reaction. Occasionally, from the alveolar blood barrier, these particles may enter into the blood, and once they come into the blood, they can excite in systemic inflammation. Now, about the host tissue response, fibrous nodules. It is what happens if a fibrous nodule is formed by the host or the in response to the particle present in the lung, if there is a fibrous nodule formed, it happens in coal workers and in pneumoconiosis, that is coal worker pneumoconiosis, and silicosis. If there is interstitial fibrosis, then it is asbestosis. Now, asbestos is the particle, and if there is some hypersensitivity shown, then there is berylosis. So, what are the responses that can occur in response to the particle present in the lungs? The first is fibrous nodule formation or fibrosis. Second is fibrosis at a different location, that is in the interstitial space. And third is an hypersensitivity reaction. Now we have some examples of inorganic dust like coal dust, silica, asbestos, beryllium, and iron oxide. These are inorganic dust, whereas sometimes biological dust may also cause. So these are some examples like uh, excreta of birds, mushroom, and mushroom particles of mushroom, and baganososis like bagaces can also cause this. So these are overall called the farmers or the biological dust causing pneumoconiosis. Now let us discuss about coal workers pneumoconiosis, that will discuss in the second part of restrictive lung disease.